Welcome everyone to another review, and in today's review we're going to be taking a look at Comodo Internet Security version 8. Well, for those of you who watched my beta video on this, it didn't perform as well as I'd hoped it would, and I'm actually kind of worried to see how this test is going to go, and that's kind of why I'm doing it today, because I have version 8 running on my computer right now, but I want to know if I made a mistake and if I should go back to version 7 or find some other security program, because the automatic sandboxing did not work nearly as well as I wanted it to. So essentially we're going to be seeing how well it works today, and we're going to take a look right now and get in the review and take a look at what has changed in version 8. A lot of good things, Like I stated, they have policy-based sandboxing, or automatic sandboxing I should say, and essentially what that is compared to what they used to do is they kind of had a default rule set before, which wasn't good, because let's say you have an invoice program that's really old and not whitelisted by Comodo. What's going to happen is that's going to be sandboxed, and if you have it set to fully virtualized, that program is going to be fully virtualized. Well, let's say that you don't know that that program is fully virtualized because you just aren't that tech savvy. Later on down the road you decide that, oh, my computer has a piece of malware running on, and it's in the sandbox. You find out. You go and click Reset Sandbox. Erase all the changes permanently, and the malware is gone. Everything seems fine until you go into your invoice program and find out that all of your invoices have been deleted. That's a big issue. They warned you also before you change it that it would delete data permanently in the previous version of Comodo, but nevertheless that is a pretty big issue that they're trying to resolve with the automatic sandboxing policies. So they've also stated, as you know before, the test did not go so well last time with the beta, they've stated they've kind of refined the policies a little bit to isolate unknown or risky programs, I should say. Another big thing is hardware virtualization support. I like this a lot, because the old way, with version 7, it would use your operating system to virtualize hardware. Now that's a problem, because the operating system is then going to turn to the CPU, and it's kind of having to go from one jump, two jumps, and you just keep jumping from spot to spot in a sense, and it just really adds more calculations to your CPU and slows down your system in turn. So essentially what the hardware virtualization support does is it kind of gives Comodo direct access to the motherboard, but not really. It goes to the hypervisor, which is a feature on most motherboards nowadays. Any motherboard that has hardware virtualization support has a hypervisor, level in the sense of virtualization. What that does is it allows Comodo to access your hardware directly. So let's say that you're virtualizing a program, and then the program requests access to, let's say, get out to the internet. Then what Comodo does is it says, hey, it looks at your NIC and says, I need access. And the hypervisor relays that information over to the NIC. The Comodo cannot actually then talk to your hardware directly. The hypervisor is kind of an intermediary still, but instead of basically going from the operating system and then having to go through that, everything go through the CPU, it's able to access the hardware that it needs, which cuts down on calculations quite a bit. Sorry if that's confusing, but that's probably the best way I can explain it to you guys. Extended logging, that's a new, they've added that, or at least improved that, I should say. They've added a new theme. I think it looks good. I like the modern theme, and these are my two favorite themes, the modern theme and the flat tile. I kind of like that too. I'll probably go back and forth a little bit. But essentially it's kind of nice they added a new theme, kind of freshen it up a little bit. VirusScope recognizer grid. I don't know what the ASE is. I think they might be trying to say, that might actually be a typo. I don't know. Someone can please comment and let me know. I tried Googling it and I cannot find it. But I think that's supposed to be AES, which is the American, I think it's the American Encryption Standard. I forgot exactly. I just had it on the top of my mind and I forgot it. I hate it when that happens. Anyways, basically I think that's a typo. But essentially they've added a recognizer, or at least they've improved VirusScope, I should say, quite a bit. I didn't look too much on it, but essentially what VirusScope is supposed to do and the way it's supposed to work is kind of like WebRoot's rollback feature. When a piece of malware is detected in your system, VirusScope is essentially supposed to reverse all changes that the malware was the malware caused in your system, or any detriments that it may have done. But to me that sounds a little redundant, because the sandbox on fully virtualized could do the same thing, and I think a lot more effective than what this could do. So I guess I don't really know what they're trying to do here. I mean, this just seems like too much in the way. I know that Comodo's always been game on overlapping security, and I understand that's a really, really good thing to have nowadays. But I just think these are almost identical features in a sense, and if anything, this one would be better than this one. But I mean, as long as it doesn't take up too many system resources, I guess running them both isn't too bad. I guess I should say that. That it's fine. Yeah, you know what? I'm changing my mind right now. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, VirusScope, essentially that's what it does, and these are kind of overlapping. But anyways, moving on. They've supposedly also improved VirusScope from last time too, because last time it was actually causing problems with my print driver, I found out, and I don't know if that's related to the file sharing violations, but nevertheless, what would happen is it would just print a random number of pages. Let's say I had a 10-page document and I clicked print. Well, sometimes it'd print 3, sometimes it'd print 5, and then it just stopped as if the print job was complete. But it wasn't. So I disabled VirusScope after enabling it, and it fixed the issue. So VirusScope was causing some issue with my printer. It was the weirdest thing ever, and I still haven't figured out exactly what was causing it, but maybe it was a file sharing violation. Looks like they fixed quite a bit of stuff. So, all right, 6 minutes into the video already. Haven't even got to the test, but we are right now. So let's go ahead and actually, no, sorry, just kidding. Got to look at the interface first. All right, looking at the interface, we're not going to spend too much time on it because it hasn't changed much. Just a few color schemes. You can see the green is a little bit different up here from version 7, but otherwise everything has pretty much remained the same. Like I said, modern theme is the default. If we go to, I think the only thing that's changed really is the sandbox. If we go to sandbox settings, that looks pretty much the same, but auto sandbox has changed drastically. As you can see, we don't have the fully virtualized, partially limited, anything up there like that anymore. We just simply have enable auto sandbox, and you can then customize rules. You can either add new rules, whether you want to block programs entirely that are in violation of those rules, or run them restricted, or run them virtually, which is basically fully virtualized. That's pretty nice that you can do that. The default rules are already in here. I'm going to leave everything at default. It looks like, let's see here, if they changed, okay, that is origin from internet and run virtually. So any application that's unrecognized. And then this one, okay, so it looks like, let's see, they don't have, let me look at this one again. I'm trying to figure out if they fixed the issue. And you know what? We're going to find out. I don't know if it, I can't look at this right now and say whether it's going to be secured or not. But, I mean, so far it looks good. It's got the web browser. Web browsers, any location and from any origin. Essentially, you're going to run virtually. And then this one here, any file that is coming from the internet is going to be ran virtually. Yeah, that's pretty much the same configuration as before, a little bit different maybe, but it still kind of worries me a little bit. But we're gonna give it a try. All right, so moving on to VirusScope, you can see, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it wrong, so I don't know if it's VirusScope or VirusScope. So I think it's VirusScope. I think that's what they're trying to do, but so I'm just going to pronounce it like that. But anyways, sorry guys if I'm mispronouncing it. Firewall settings, those pretty much have remained the same. So, yep, everything's been left at default. The only thing I really changed was I'm not using their DNS service because it doesn't work well with my VPN, so I'm not going to sacrifice my security for testing a security product. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to test their DNS service. We're just going to have to rely on their web filter, which is enabled, or at least if it's enabled, it's on. I have not changed that. All right. And unfortunately, too, they like to change your homepage to Yahoo. I do have Yahoo as my homepage, but it's still kind of, I understand it's free, and they probably have this. They assume they have this partnership with Yahoo, which is why they're doing it. But hey, it's free. You know what? I'll take it. You can always change it back. It doesn't really hurt anything. All right, let's get Process Explorer up here. We're going to use that instead of Kill Switch. Yeah, we're just going to use this instead of Kill Switch here. Okay, Let's move that like so. I'm going to try and shrink this down a little bit. See, that's the problem. I got my little widget up there. You know what? I know it's up there, but we're going to move that down there because I want to see what's going on in the sandbox. So we're going to kind of put that right there for now. And yeah, this little widget you can also customize, you know, to your liking, or if you want to get rid of it entirely, you can essentially just uncheck show or go into Comodo and you can uncheck it there. So, checking, make sure VPN's online. Good. I'm on my separate router. All right, sweet. We are ready to go. Except for I don't have Notepad open. Numbering. All right. Oh, here we go. First link, number one. Number one. This looks like AdWord to me. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but yeah, everything's enabled. So let's go. What I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to put status on so we can actually see what's going on. I'm going to get rid of that connect. There we go. So now essentially what I can do is I can see unrecognized files, anything running in the background, and then applications that are running in the sandbox. And this one appears to be, oh, there it goes again. All right. So slow today. Let's try a different one while we're waiting for that. Okay. Run this one. Oh man, everything is slow today. It's not what I want to see. I was hoping that the links would work flawlessly and nothing would be a problem. Let's try this one. Okay, it looks like Comodo has detected something and is asking if I want GeekBuddy, which is their technical support service, to remove it for me, or I can just clean the threat myself. But automatic quarantine is enabled, so essentially if I click no, it'll clean it myself, or it'll clean it automatically. So if I check don't show this message again so it doesn't keep popping up, and click that, you'll see that the Trojan was quarantined, which is good. So we'll count link number one as blocked. Alright, link number two, this one right here, it looks like it wants to, looks like Sandbox, Comodo Sandbox is alerting me. Not recognized, request unlimited access to your computer. Anything that requests unlimited access to your computer, be careful because that's never a good sign. Click this right here, it should provide us some more details. Not much, it kind of does tell us a little bit, but the default action is run isolated. So we're going to do that. We're going to click the default action. So now this should be running virtually. It looks like this one wants to do the same thing. Okay, so we're just going to keep saying run virtually because it's the default options. Okay, what we got here? All right, we got more of that stuff. Yes, 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 run virtually. Okay, now you see the green box that indicates that it is actually running inside the sandbox and is running as fully virtualized. And we do have that as malware. You can see there's malware running on the system right now. All right, awesome. So all those three links I'm going to consider blocked because they're within the sandbox, which is fully virtualized. And I will put a little notation that says there was sandbox. So blocked, but then sandboxed. Okay, did that one. Let's try it. Great, go away. I'm not going to sit there and install you. Just go away. There. Okay, let's try this one right here. This will be link number 4. Okay, actions run anyways. Okay, so this one is isolated automatically. Didn't even request any information or any additional actions. I don't know if it, let's see, any sort of, okay, it looks like we don't have anything running. It's malicious right now according to Process Explorer. Let's go ahead and try another one. So far this looks, so far we had one Trojan, it looks like the rest just is adware. But this is a really good test because adware is being a really, really big problem today with antivirus programs or anti-malware programs in general. Okay, so Zoom player. Ooh, gotta get that new player. Sure, accept all. Downloading your software. Look kind of like the CNET downloader, which we all know is just jam-packed with all sorts of fun adware. Okay, so I'm going to count that one as number 4 and blocked but sandboxed. And then this is number 5, and it looks like it was also sandboxed. So blocked but then sandboxed. And we'll move on to link number 6. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah, this will be link number 5 right here. I think I got a little ahead of myself, trying to do multiple things at once. Okay, let's go ahead and minimize that, and then try a different one here. Okay, so we got 2 links going here right now. And we got this download going that's slowing my internet. Okay, so it looks like we got one that's blocked, so I had 6 is blocked. We got Zoom player again, and it looks like something crashed. Uninstaller. Okay. Zoom player, then continue the application in the sandbox. Okay. So essentially this is saying, do I want to continue running application inside the sandbox, or I can say, okay, if it's good, I can run it outside the sandbox. And you can see we have tons. Okay, now it looks like we have a fake AV of some sort. This looks like tons of stuff on here. Okay, and some more malware, more sandboxing stuff. Oh my. There we go. Okay. Yep, we definitely do have malware on this system. And the system is taking quite a bit of time to respond here. Zoom player, sure, why not? Express installations. Okay, we gotta stop this. Okay, so we do have a fake AV on the system right now. This is doing whatever it wants to do right now. Program cannot be. Okay, so these 2 are blocked, so I'm gonna count 7 as blocked 2. One was. So we're going to count. One was sandboxed, I believe, and the other one was not. So now I should mention the reason the system is probably becoming slow to respond is due to the fact that this is a virtual machine, and the hypervisor, or I should say the full virtualization cannot take complete effect on here. And it looks like I have a web browser that's based off of Chromium. Let's close out of that. Yeah, we have definitely lots of adware on this system right here. I mean, it is just flooding in here. And you know what? I actually might save this virtual machine for a different test. And I want to say this is an example of how bad adware actually is nowadays. This is essentially what you're getting to. I mean, it's just one thing. It's a snowball effect. You can see that I installed a couple applications, and here's the amount of crap I got on my system. And it looks like VirusScope actually is working here. So it's saying suspicious file found, clean, recommended, or ignore. We're going to go do the recommended and clean it. That's a chocolate bar. I mean, I know I'm hungry, but man. All right, let's see if we can continue the test. We have 3 more links to get through here. Let's hope that we don't have any more adware. Let's see. Let's try this right here. This is a Trojan. I'll try to pick stuff that's not going to be adware. This one we might have done already. I don't know. I think it's different. I don't recognize that number. Yeah, my hard drive is going absolutely crazy right now. What's our CPU at? No, not too bad. But this is sure responding slow. That's for sure. Okay, this is still downloading, so that's going to be link number 8. We're going to move on to link number 9 just to keep the test going here. We got riskware. Let's try this one. I think we did that one already. Let's actually go to a different source. See, we only got a couple left. Let's go to Virus Vault and see what Virus Vault can do for us today. Oh, cure.exe. My system's infected and I need a cure for it. Okay. Cure.exe. 85 kilobytes. You know, and when I get calls from people saying their computer is slow, this is often what I find on there. It's just a slew of adware. Alright, so this is number 9 in a sense. I think was number 8. This program. Okay, so we're going to find out if number 8 was blocked or not. Alright, so this is number 8 or 9, we'll just call it. Okay, cure.exe. We'll count 8 is blocked and sandboxed. Okay. And then what about, I think the other one, okay. Yeah, the other one was blocked too. It looks like it actually was removed. Okay, so number 9 was, well, I'll run another one just in case. So this is going pretty smoothly. I think we have a couple links here that we can use. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, tune-up utilities 2014. No way. From AVG. Okay, and yeah, this guy's freaking annoying. I've dealt with those freaking things. Forgot how I removed it last time. It was a pain in the ass, I thought. Okay, oh, that link's dead. Oh, that's cute. Maybe number 2, because you know you always got to keep a backup. Hey, look at that. Number 2 always comes through. Alright, so we'll download that. Looks like it's going pretty good, so we'll wait for this one. This will be number 9. And we will run that anyways. Okay, it was ran virtually, and it looks like it crashed. So obviously it could not perform its malicious duties. Okay, just making sure we're still connected to our VPN. And the last link, number 10. Let's do number 10. Let's see, can we find, I guess I'll have to do this one. Server.exe. From the same website, but it's a different exe, or different file name, so it's also a different size, I believe. Alright, run anyways. Server.exe has been isolated, and it crashed. There we go. Alright, so that was 10 links. And I don't know if I can show you. No, I cannot. So essentially we had, looks like, let me add that one, 2 antivirus responses, maybe 3. I think there's another one that came up due to some other malware. But essentially we had 2 links that gave us antivirus responses, and the rest was all sandboxed or ran virtually. So essentially if you want to grade the antivirus engine, it didn't perform nearly as well as I'd hoped it would. But as for the sandboxing and full virtualization, you can see that it performed quite well. Everything on here is fully virtualized, that it doesn't appear there's anything running outside the sandbox. In fact, let's take a look. Well, I didn't install kill switch here, so I have to show you guys. Let me go ahead and see how long this is going to take. Hopefully it won't take too long. Watch activity. I think it's only like 7 meg, and hopefully it won't take too long to download. Come on, download faster. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to show you that all of this stuff should be fully virtualized on the system. If it's not, well, then we got some issues to work out. So let me go ahead and close that out to relinquish some of the CPU. And we've got tune-up utilities, spy clear, PC tech hotline. That's probably what that stupid dude is sitting there all the time on every freaking window. And here comes kill switch. All right, so let's see what do we got running virtually on the system and what don't we have running virtually on the system. It looks like everything that is trusted is not virtualized and everything that is unknown is virtualized. All right, that looks good. So let's go ahead and I'm trying to think, I'm deciding whether I'm going to empty the sandbox right now or wait a little bit. I think I'm going to do it now just to show everyone that all this will be gone. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. It's kind of in relation to my other video and kind of the one where I showed you the power of the sandbox. So let's open up all this junk here. And you can see that lovely thing is scanning again, or doing its fake scan, I should say. Spy clear. I don't know if there's an actual rogue or what. I should almost see if I assume RogueAmp knows about it already. He's usually pretty good about staying on top of that stuff, but I should see if I can find that file and send it to him or let him know about it and he can do a video on it. Okay, so we got all of our crap here you can see on the system. Let's go ahead and reset the sandbox. So essentially, let's say this happened to you. All you have to do is come in here and where is it? Sandbox tasks, reset sandbox, erase changes, and there we go. Whoops, never mind. Resetting sandbox takes a little bit longer than just a second. Okay, the sandbox has been successfully reset. And now if we look at kill switch, do we still have it open? No, we don't. I have to open it back up. Kill switch should show everything on the system as trusted. And as you can see, everything on the system is good to go, as if there were no infections whatsoever. So let's go ahead and actually, I'm going to do a scan with Hitman Pro quick to see if there actually are no infections on the system. And I probably should have done this before. That's kind of what I was deciding, but you know what? Let's just YOLO, right? We're going to do it right now. So once the scan is completed, I will be back and we will see how it did. Alright everyone, so the scan is completed and as you can see there are infections on the system. However, as I've stated in the past, they are in the temporary internet files which are easily deletable. All you have to do is clear out your temp files or temporary internet files I should say, and they'd be gone. These are actually not running in the system. As long as you don't execute them again, they don't pose any threat, and if you also execute them again, Comodo will just re-sandbox them. It's not a big deal. So this system right now is secure in my mind just because that security layer is still there. If they were to accidentally be re-executed, they would not be able to reinfect the system. Do I like them on my system? No. I've stated in that past. This would still bug me if I found out the program did this, and this does kind of bug me too. I wish Comodo would give you an option to remove the parent threat or the file that caused it in a sense, but can't be perfect, right? Essentially, this is a good result, even though you can see there's files in here, but it's not completely perfect. All right, so moving on to our 0-day tests. We have a folder. These are all released today with 327 files. So I have disabled both the automatic sandbox and antivirus. We're going to do a right-click scan or a context scan on the folder and see how many files they can detect. Now, I don't think Comodo uses their cloud scanner for context scans, so this might be a little bit lower result. But nevertheless, this is what I do for all my programs. I'm not going to basically change the results because I want to make it sure it's a fair test. So once this is all completed, scanned, I'll remove all the threats. I'll do another scan. We'll be back and see how many objects Comodo is actually able to remove. So I'll be back. Alright everyone, so the scan has completed. I did a couple scans and until at least Comodo has stopped finding anything in the folder. So let's take a look at what we have left. It appears we have 48 items left in the folder. So let's take our starting number, 327 minus 48 divided by 327. Well, actually, sorry, I did. Equals 10 divided by 327 gives us a detection rate of 85%. That's good. It's kind of on the higher end of average, but that's not exactly outstanding. I mean, we've seen better. So, but that's not really what Comodo, talks about, or at least sells their product with, is their signatures, because signatures are going by the wayside. Nowadays, you can't protect the system alone with signatures. That's why you need behavior blockers. That's why HIPs were invented. That's why the Sandbox is taking over now for unknown applications. So, let's go ahead and test this out. Let me go ahead and re-enable Comodo here. Fix it. All right. So, Sandbox is enabled. Antivirus is enabled. We are secure. So, let's go ahead and start running some malware here. Let's get Process Explorer open here. We're going to utilize this first, and then we'll go ahead at the end and look at Kill Switch and see what it found. So I'm just going to wait for, okay, everything is zeroed out. This is unknown. Why is it unknown? That shouldn't be, but essentially that's Comodo, and Kill Switch is still running apparently. Why is Kill Switch still running? Well, whatever, I'm going to leave it. I don't know why Kill Switch is still running in the background. Alright, so we're going to run a good handful of this malware here and see how well it does. Let's go ahead and grab my widget down here again so we can keep an eye on what's going on in the system. Start with link number 1, or malware number 1, I guess you could say. So, I'm not seeing anything in the sandbox. I think it's in unrecognized files. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's it right there. What I'm going to go ahead and do actually here, I think, is let me select all the files except for this one, and I'm going to delete them. Just because those are part of the previous test, and I really just don't want them to interfere. So essentially now all that malware that was showing up in Kitman Pro before, that won't show up anymore, because I just deleted the files. So I should have done that before, but I didn't. But now you know something a little bit about Comodo, I guess. Alright. Okay, so that looks like it's going. Trying to delete all those files. Some files gonna be deleted. To restart. No, I'll restart at the end. Okay, so looks like it didn't run. Oh, whatever. We'll try this one. Okay, so now we have another unrecognized file. This will be number 3. And it looks like as if we do have malware running in the system right here. This will be number 4. This will be number 5. Okay, so it looks like Comodo has actually stopped a piece of malware via its antivirus engine. Couple pieces maybe. See what this one does. Okay, some more malware stopped. I don't know if it's related to what we're doing over here. I should have probably looked at it a little bit closer. I don't want to run that. Looking for stuff that doesn't appear to be adware. I'm just getting sick and tired of adware. Okay, so it looks like this is definitely a piece of malware here. And it appears as if nothing is actually running in the sandbox right now. Oh, it makes cool clicky noises. That's cute. And I'm accepting a whole bunch of crap here. This is all adware. Okay, it doesn't look good. Not good at all. Let's try that one. think we'll try a couple more here. And there goes my CD drive. All right. So I think that's pretty much a good amount. As you can see, we do have malware actually running on the system here. Quite a bit. Let's go ahead and open up Kill Switch here and see if any of it is actually virtualized. Tracking software found. Oh no. That's not good. Fake AVs. Alright. Virtualization disabled, restriction level none, rating unknown. That's not good. And I'm going to show you why. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to restart the computer before we do any scans, and we do have Zorton, which is a fake int, and my system looks like, oh wait, never mind. Probably just had some code injected into Explorer, and we do have actually some fake AVs running on here. Not good to see. Okay. Let me go ahead and reset the sandbox here. We'll see if we can actually get rid of this malware. Don't think that's going to work though. I don't know why I closed that out. Let's see. Open up Watch Activity. And as you can see, we still have all of the malware running on the system, regardless of the fact that we reset the sandbox. So maybe restarting will work. Well, let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and restart the computer. Once the computer is finished rebooting, we're going to go ahead and I'll start the scans with I'll do a quick scan with Comodo, Malwarebytes, and Hitman Pro, and we'll see what happens, I guess, and hope for the best, right? But I'm not really too trying to think of the word. Whatever. Stop rambling, and I'm going to pause the video. We'll be back with the results of the scan and probably a final verdict on the program. Alright everyone, so as you can see, we're in safe mode here, and that is because the fake AVs that were on this machine were preventing me from running Malwarebytes. So what did we find with Comodo? We found one threat. That's it. And that was the heuristics that found that one. So, not too good for that, because we know there are threats on this system. So, let's take a look and see what is actually wonderful. Just wonderful. There we go. Let's take a look and see what's actually on the system here. Looks like we found that rogue right there. Got a couple Trojans here. A piece of adware, and then some potential unwanted programs. So, not too horrible, but the fact that these are on here and running, in a sense, that's bad. So, while it's not severely infected, the system is infected, and it is serious. So, yeah, that's that. Let's go look at Hitman Pro, and the news is not much better here. You can see it found quite a bit of malware, pretty much the same as Malwarebytes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete these, and we're going to attempt to show you. Oh, really? It wants an email? You want an email now? Oh, you little crap. Alright, I guess I'll give it the email. If I can type today. I'll give it that email. There we go. It'd be nice to know if Hitman Pro did that before I closed out Malwarebytes. But whatever. So essentially I'm going to try to remove the threats that are on the system here, and then I want to show you guys something that I think is important. If you want to really increase your security with Comodo and make it to the point of where it was before, then essentially just do what I'm about to show you. Okay, great. Reboot. So hopefully the fake AV will be gone. Hopefully it was able to find the problem that was caused. I think it did. And I can then kind of re-show you. Should have made a snapshot. I didn't make a snapshot because I'm an idiot. So I'm gonna wait for this to boot up again. I know it's a longer video, guys, but I wanted to kind of do a thorough test on Comodo just because of the fact that it has so many features that have changed since version 7. So for those of you who are still watching, thanks for bearing with me here. Hopefully this won't take too much longer. Otherwise I might pause the video and well, you know what? I think I might do that. Yep, I think I'm going to cut the video here. Well, actually, never mind. It looks like it's loading up pretty quick now. It's just finalizing a few things. Here we go. Maybe. Okay. Let's see if we can load. Well, I'm waiting for Comodo to load up here first. Okay. See if we can get Malwarebytes to load if it's gonna block it. Alright, good. So Malwarebytes is working again. So it looks like the malware's been removed. Alright, let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and disable the antivirus here. Yeah, I know. And then I'm also going to disable the automatic sandbox temporarily so that I can extract some malware here. And if you notice, I'm extracting some different malware. Kind of had an idea this was going to happen, so I came prepared. Alright, so we got some ransomware here. And now I'm going to change one simple setting here. I'm not going to enable the antivirus because I want to test out the automatic sandbox. Let's go to Sandbox settings in the advanced configuration window. And under where it says run virtually, all application unrecognized, we're going to edit that. And now it says origin internet. I'm going to change that to any. So essentially any file from any location that comes from anywhere that is unrecognized is going to be ran virtually. And that's essentially how Comodo used to be. So we just changed that setting. And let's go ahead and make sure our sandbox is re-enabled. Okay, so we just enabled our sandbox, but we're leaving the antivirus disabled. And we're going to go ahead and run these. Okay, you can see application was isolated and isn't being run virtually right now. This is considered ransomware. We'll run the other one just to see whichever one works first. As you can see, we do have a box now stating that this was essentially sandboxed. We did not get that before. None of the stuff that we had before was isolated, which is not good. And you can see it crash, but nevertheless, this proves my point. And up here you can see we have stuff running in the sandbox. We have 21 files, and we have stuff running in the sandbox. So if we go to our reset sandbox now, and actually reset it, you will see threats have been eliminated. However, the fact they are still here, that's just the original, the parent file. So don't have to worry about that. We can just delete those, and if you want, all you'd have to do, essentially come in here and delete this, and you'd be good to go. Some might not be able to be deleted right away, but nevertheless, eventually at reboot they would be deleted. So, final verdict on Comodo here. Well, It did perfectly for any threats that came through the internet. It blocked them, no problem. That is how Comodo has always worked, and that is why I use it on my system. However, the zero-day malware analysis was an utter failure. Nothing got blocked whatsoever. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were pieces of malware that were being detected by the antivirus engine, but for the most part, there was no behavior blocker whatsoever. Once the files are on the system that have no origin from the internet, no ties from the internet, essentially from a zip folder, from a flash drive, something of that sort, they're not going to get blocked. That is a vulnerability that needs to get fixed in my mind. Now, I know in the past, I made a video about this in the beta showing how to fix it and stuff like that. I mean, I made a couple of videos actually on Comodo, but I mean, to me, this is a huge issue that must get fixed. I mean, bottom line, there's no other way for me to explain it. I'm going to continue using them, but I might go ahead. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go change that setting on my computer, just because to me that's a huge security hole that malware writers can take advantage of. How they would take advantage of that if the threat came through the internet, as of right now, I don't think they would be able to. But having me execute on the system and not having it being able to be blocked or having it be blocked, to me, I could just see malware writers drooling over that and saying, now we have a way, now we have something to work with. That's what I'm afraid of here, that Comodo has given them a sense something to work with. Now, I know the engineers at Comodo are very smart. They have a great product. There's a reason why it's patent pending. And if one of the engineers over Comodo could explain to me what they're trying to do and how it's supposed to work, and maybe, I know in the past they've stated it's not going to work on a virtual machine because of the full hardware virtualization. I don't completely buy that, just because I proved to you guys right here when I changed that setting that it does work. The sandbox is functioning as it's supposed to. I click reset sandbox, everything's deleted. You saw that earlier when I did the scan with Hitman Pro. It protected the system. It's just a simple rule issue in my mind, and they said they tweaked that, but I don't see it. This seemed like an identical copycat, carbon copy, whatever terms you want to use, basically test of the beta. That's what I thought. That's what it looks like I'm testing right now. But in fact, if I show you the version number, this is the full version 8 program. This is the final release. So after an hour and 10 minutes of total recording time here, I think I'm going to end this video. And giving my final verdict, Comodo did well, but it needs a lot of work in a sense. If you just do web surfing and that's it, it'll protect you. It's going to do a damn good job of protecting you. But if you have an infection that comes through a flash drive, or if you download an encrypted file of malware, you could run into some problems, and some major ones, that is, because you could see that once it was on the system, it had unlimited access and wasn't questioned whatsoever by Comodo. So that's it. I'm going to leave you with that. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know my inbox will probably be full of people saying how I did this wrong or did that wrong, but my tests are how they are. A lot of people like them the way they are. Just throwing that out there. So I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a like if you did like it. If you didn't, like I said, I'm sorry. And comment, please, constructively or professionally, and tell me how I can make them better. If you want to do that, I'm always open for input. So that's why I'm using Process Explorer. So, all right. Talk to you guys later. See you in the next review.